the preliminary prayers. Enthused by great compassion, you taught the miraculous Dharma to dispel the perverted view. To you, the Buddha Gautama, I pay homage. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and Sangha. By my accumulation of practice of giving and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. So first we recite the first two lines, then take refuge. I go for refuge and am enlightened to the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha. Next, generating bodhicitta. By my accumulations of practice of giving and so forth, may I become Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Next, we recite the first chapter from the entering the middle way. Chapter 1. I pay homage to the General Lord Manjushri. Sarvaka and middle-level Buddhas arise from Salvation sages. Buddha are born from Bodhisattvas, the compassionate mind and the non-dual cognition, as well as the awakening mind. These are cause for Bodhisattvas, as compassion alone is accepted to be the seeds for the perfect harvest of Buddha. The water nurtures it, the fruit is long a source of enjoyment. Aware is at the end, the center of all. First with the thought, I am, they cling to the self. Then with the thought's mind, they become attached to the thing. Like the buckets of the water wheel, they turn without control. I abhor to the compassion, the cares of such as suffering beings. Beings are like reflection of the moon in the rippling water. Seeing them as devoted intrinsic nature, the Bodhisattva's mind falls under the compassion's way, yearning to set free every transmigrating beings. Though the tense dedication with the Samandapatra prayers, he abhorred the perfect joy. This is called the first ground. From the point on, having attained this ground, he is led by the name Bodhisattvas alone. He is born into the lineage of the Tathagata as well. He has utterly approached the three binding factors, such as the Bodhisattva uphold the state of the supreme joy and that world, stepping from ground to another. He traveled perfectly to the highest one. At this point, the path to the all lower realm are blocked for him. At that point, all grown ordinary person sees for him. He is described clearly in the terms of scan to the earth area, even when abiding the first ground of the mind for all awakening. He passes the bond from the sage's speech and the Pratyeka Buddha. Through power of merit and his merit increasing ever more. When it gone after, he also screamed intelligence. At this point, the first cause of the full awakening, the perfection of generosity will become committed to giving away even his very flesh. Giving become a sign of the infinite is unseen quality. All living beings eagerly yearn for happiness, yet for the human there's no happiness without resources. Material resources in turn come about from the generosity. Knowing this, the Buddha spoke on the generosity first. Those with beginning compassion and truth who seek their own welfare with enthusiasm, even for them where the desire will come, cause the living suffering. Indeed, it is through the perfection of generosity that he will firstly compound with the Arya. He will then cut clean the continuum of second existence. And as a result, he will generate to the state of the peace. Those who keep in mind this approach to the help sentient beings, without much delay, attain joy through their generosity. Since it is for the both the compassion and the one who is not, this discourse of the generosity is primarily is simply hearing or thinking or present giving me brings such a joy the chill of the conquerors. Joy not experienced even by the Arahant who attain into the peace. When it is exposed by the joy when giving away everything, cutting his body and giving it away, he ceased from his own path. And his others such as that hell. As he was understanding the situation himself, the swiftly he strove to cut away all his pain. Generosity, devoid of the gift, receiving and giver, is called the superintendent perfections. But when attachment of these three arise, it is said to be the mundane perfections, abiding perfectly in the Bodhisattva's mind and endowed with the light between sublime one. The ground of the perfect joy is the water crystal gem, which has been darkness regarding virtues.
One sec.
This is the for entering the middle way, the fast grown generosity is mine.
Working on that.
So thank you so much for reciting the verses.
Still working.
What?
Sorry, Gisela, I think there's connections for Sonam. Sorry.
I think he on the what call. Anyways, okay. Oh, thank you so much for reciting the verses. Before we start the class, we really need to know a few things, which is very, very important. Many of us have been studied Dharma for many years without knowing the actual point, the actual reasonings. Number one, why we need to study Dharma, why we practice Dharma, what Dharma makes us different. Then the answer, many people will answer because I'm Buddhist, therefore I need to study Dharma. I need to practice Dharma. It is not a right answer. If you ask yourself the question, why I need to study, why I need to practice Dharma, the answer, the right answer, a correct answer will be, you're going to say, you're going to think, I want happiness. I want happiness right now. I want happiness in the future. I want to achieve the everlasting or ultimate happiness. Therefore, I need to practice Dharma. Right? You always think, I am practicing Dharma. I will practice Dharma because I want happiness. I don't want suffering. When you think this way, then you are studying Dharma, practicing Dharma can be, perfect. Otherwise, many people think, oh, I want to study Dharma, I want to practice Dharma because I want to accumulate merit. This is the wrong answer. It is not the right thoughts. I want happiness. Then the happiness we can divide into, three levels of happiness. One, happiness in the samsara, the samsaric happiness. in the samsara, in the sakala existence, there are three types of sentient beings. One, the lower realms being, then desire the realm beings, then the higher beings, or like you can say the celestial beings, or then we believe also in the reality. If we born into lower realms, animal beings, hungry beings, hell beings, they don't have such as physical happiness and mental happiness. If you compare it with the lower realms and the higher realm beings, then the higher realm being has certain types of happiness. Therefore, there's one type of happiness we call the samsaric happiness. The second happiness is happiness which is we can achieve through totally eliminating the root of the samsara and the samsara, which we name nirvana or nirvana, not the Buddhahood. And when we achieve nirvana or nirvana, so we can achieve quite higher level of happiness. Then the third level of happiness is happiness of achieving Buddhahood. Buddhahood, right? This means there are three types of happiness. One is the samsara happiness, having kind of well-being, having physical happiness, mental happiness in the just some samsaric level. The second is the happiness we can have when we achieve liberation. We ourselves fully liberate from samsara and cause of samsara. The third type of happiness is the happiness we can achieve when we, achieve the enlightened state or when we become a Buddha. So we have to be very clear what is our aim as a Buddhist. We have three aims. One, I don't want to born in the lower realms. Therefore, what we need to practice? We need to practice perfectly the 10 virtuous actions. Also, many Buddhist people think, in practicing the 10 virtuous action is so simple. I can practice in our daily life. Saying is very simple when we really practice, not easy. If every day you able to practice the 10 virtuous actions, then next life, 100% sure, you can take, rebirth into higher realms. Can be born as a good human being with all the necessary resources. Or you can be born into higher realms, form a formless being. Also, you can have a better happiness than the human beings. Therefore, as a Buddhist, as a foundation, every day we need to practice the 10 virtuous actions. This is one of our aim as a Buddhist for achieving the samsaric happiness, to able to born all the time into higher realms. The second happiness is the happiness which is we can achieve after we fully eliminated the root of samsara and the samsara. This is we call, the arhat state. Also here you have two options. What you want to be? You want to be just arhat, arhat, or or you want to be Buddha. Arhato, Samya Sambuddha, Arhatora. That means when you want to be like a fully destroy the samsara and the cause of samsara. Or second option, you have an option to be a Buddha. So which one you want, which one I want? Just want to be the Arhat? Not just Arhat, I want to be Buddha. So you got the two options. Based on the practicing the 10 virtuous action, you have to be very clear what you want to be. If you don't have our, clear kind of, if you are not clear about what you want to achieve, if you are not so sure what you want to be achieved, then your practice never be complete. Your practice never be go on the right directions. So you have to show what you want to be. Clear? Second, how we can achieve liberation, right? Liberation, just only liberate yourself from the samsara and the cause of samsara. Then, as a foundation, we need to practice first renunciation. That means we need to learn non-attachment. Non-attachment with your belongings, non-attachment with your relatives, non-attachment yourself. Totally you need to learn as a foundation, first non-attachment, or you can so name renunciation. Renunciation, okay? Without renunciation, we cannot really enter into any path. The Hinayan path or Mahayan path, the renunciation. Second, top of the renunciation, we need to realize emptiness. Emptiness. Now you can see, in order to achieve liberation, we need to realize emptiness. In order to achieve Buddhahood, also we need to realize emptiness. Renunciation, emptiness. Then if you practice these two together, at the beginning you generate renunciation and realize emptiness, meditate on emptiness, then you can achieve liberation. You can achieve nirvana, not the Buddhahood. Also, you have to be clear what you want to be. If you think, I don't think I can be a Buddha, it's so difficult, it takes eons of years, I want to be Arhat, I want to just liberate myself, then you have to be very clear. Totally generate or cultivate renunciation or non-attachment, realize emptiness, practice these two together all the time, then gradually you enter into the first, second, third, fourth on path, and finally you will achieve liberation. So you have to be very clear. Then in order to achieve the third level of happiness, which is the Buddhahood, fully awakening state, then top of the two, renunciation, realizing emptiness, then you need to add bodhicitta, right? Bodhicitta. So if you practice these three, which is renunciation, or realizing emptiness and meditate on emptiness, practice bodhicitta, then surely, we can be Buddha. But it takes time, but it's sure we can be Buddha, like one lifetime, two lifetimes, maybe 100. Surely we can be Buddha. Therefore, we have to be very sure, we have to be very clear what you want to achieve, what we want to achieve. If you have a clear destination, then for you very easy to focus in your daily practice. Daily practice, right? So, and also I said it is not easy to practice the 10 virtuous action. Why? Let's say, first is the killing, avoiding or stopping killing. Not easy at all. Even though, in our daily life, every day we killed lots of insect with the intention, without intention. Then, not stealing the valuable object. Yes, it's quite easy if you always make sure that you're going to stop, stealing things from others. And the third one, the sexual misconduct. If you are like has taken the layperson vows, there's two types. One, you say, I'm not going to have any kind of the sexual thing with anybody. Second, after you taking, you can take the layperson vows, which is you can say, I will have the relationship with only my partner or my wife and husband, not anybody, with anybody's. Also, not easy. Even though, you are a married person, somehow you have you have a relationship with someone, it's not easy to avoid. Then lying, stopping lying, not lying also, not easy. Therefore, many people, always have a strong wishing, strong kind of motivation to achieve Buddhahood. Meditating on emptiness, practicing bodhicitta, which is very good, but we don't have the foundation. Therefore, as a foundation in our daily life, as much as we can, practice the 10 virtuous action. The second, you have two options. Option number one, you can achieve liberation. If you just, I don't care, you should know I don't care. I really cares, all sentient beings, but I don't think I have the, the brave mind to, save all sentient beings from samsara. I just want to be, I want to achieve liberation, just myself. Then, simple, you practice renunciation, emptiness every day. So through renunciation, you're going to control, you're going to reduce most of the negative thoughts. You're going to control attachment. Then anger, so-and-so going to reduce. Through practicing, let's say, emptiness, meditating on emptiness, then you are really cutting, targeting the, get rid of the root of samsara. Very simple. Just practice these two, renunciation and emptiness. Then third, then we think, okay, just achieving liberation myself is not really fair, because me, right now I'm a human being, and this lifetime, we are very, very lucky. I realize I have a connection with all sentient beings, not my relatives, my friend. I have a connection. Today I realized I have a connection with all sentient beings. So what kind of connection we have with all sentient beings, right? Then usually I say simply, so when you drink, a cup of tea, we need a cup for holding the tea. Who produced the cup? In order to produce cup, we need all the substance. Where it come from? Also, in order to make a tea, we need a water. Where the water come from? In Singapore, every day, hundreds of thousands of people put effort to purify the water. every parts of Singapore, you have the center to purify the water. Those people not really who hold a PhD or scientist. No, those are very simple person who doesn't have a lot of education. Then in order to cook a water, we need a gas, we need a fire. Where the gas come from? Just cup of coffee, cup of water, you can think, you can really connect with all sentient beings. Right? Then you think, okay, today I realize I have a connection with all sentient. I should not ignore other sentient beings. I should not ignore other sentient beings' happiness and suffering. I must care all sentient beings. Therefore, I really want to benefit all sentient beings, because those are very kind for me for many years, or millions of years. So from the Buddhist point of view, so we believe in previous life. How many previous life we have? Countless, numberless. That means today someone is your enemy. In the previous life, before this life, or he or she can be your best friend, can be your father, can be your mother, can be your sister. How we can ignore their happiness, how we can ignore their suffering. Then you think, yes, I have the responsibility to benefit all sentient beings. But then how we can benefit all sentient beings? How you can benefit all sentient beings? And this moment, I am a very simple human being. I don't have a lot of resources, I can share with all sentient beings. I don't have enough power to bring all sentient beings from, suffering and establish the happiness. I don't have. Then how you can really benefit all sentient beings? Then you can think, if I become a Buddha, right? If I become a Buddha, then surely I can benefit all sentient beings, include my relatives, friends, and family, if I become a Buddha. Yes, we can think, if I become a Buddha, I can benefit all sentient beings. Then the question is here, how we can be Buddha? How you can be Buddha? How I can be Buddha? Now, we have to be very practical. We have to be very sure how I can be Buddha. Can I be Buddha? Can I achieve the enlightened state? Can I become a Buddha or not? So what is your answer? So if you say, yes, I can be a Buddha. How? Then many people say, oh, because there are so many masters say, oh, you don't need to practice, Bodhicitta, renunciation. You recite the money, 1 million or few billions money, or maybe they were here, do 100% prostration, do 100%, billions of mandala offering, you can be Buddha. It's not truth. Not truth. Becoming Buddha is that simple. Then Buddha no need to teach, all types of teaching. He no need to, taught all different types of dharma. Therefore, at the beginning, here, Chandrakirti says. So the first line from the chapter 1, the first ground of the perfect joy. First ground, there's a 10 bhumi, 10 grounds. First line, right? Sarvaka or Charvaka and the middle level Buddhas arise from Sarvajan sages. That means the hearer, self-realizer, or arise from whom? Buddha. Buddha. The second line, Buddhas are arise from, Buddhas are born from Bodhisattvas. Now you're really showing us, the systematic path, how to achieve Buddhahood. For example, we can see someone is holding PhD degree. Someone became scientist. Someone became doctor, nurses. They have a professional kind of position. How he or she became a doctor? How he or she became professor? How? They study for many years. Study from home, teacher, right? That means someone, let's say all of us just ordinary person, then someone practice the Hinayana path, renunciation, emptiness. Then he or she become hearer or self-realizer, practitioner, right? How he or she become Charvaka and middle level Buddhas? Because Buddha taught the teaching, they practiced the teaching, then they became, true of the true. Then we can see, yes, he or she became, Sarvaka and the middle level Buddha because they practiced the path, the particular path, which is we name, the Hinayana path. Then there's a question, then how actually, Buddha Shakyamuni become a Buddha, right? How Buddha Shakyamuni become, yes, hearer, self-realizer become hearer, self-realizer because of the teaching of Buddha. Then how Buddha Shakyamuni become a Buddha? How all the Buddhas, they became a Buddha. Before they were not Buddha, they were same as us. And one day they become a Buddha. How? And then the answer is here. Buddhas are what? Next sentence. Born from bodhisattvas. That means Buddha Shakyamuni was very ordinary person like us. He used to have an angry attachment, desire, lot of misunderstanding, but one day he became Buddha. How? Through practicing bodhicitta. That means Buddhas are born from bodhisattvas. Mean any Buddhas, Buddha Shakyamuni, Manjushri, whatever Buddhas, all the Buddhas must born from bodhisattvas. Mean before he or she become a Buddha, he or she must become bodhisattva. Clear? That means it's telling us, if you want to be Buddha, first you have to be what? Bodhisattva. Right? Bodhisattvas. Then how we can be bodhisattva? We need to cultivate bodhicitta in the actual, level, not the imagined level. You really need to cultivate bodhicitta. Then one day when you have bodhicitta in your mind, then you are bodhisattva. Doesn't matter male and female, rich and poor, no matter, you become a bodhisattva. Clear? Now you can see all the hearer, let's say all the arhat become arhat because they practice Buddha teaching, right? Then how the Siddhartha, for example, Buddha, the Siddhartha become a Buddha because he was bodhisattva. Why he was bodhisattva? He practiced bodhicitta. That means now we say thing, if you want to be Buddha, then what we need to practice? We need to practice bodhicitta, not just, imaginary level. Actually, you need bodhicitta in your minds. Then how I can be bodhisattva? Answer is, I must have a bodhicitta. Clear? Bodhicitta. Then how I can really achieve, bodhicitta? How I actually cultivate bodhicitta? How I can? The answer is here. The next sentence. The compassionate mind and the non-dual cognition. That means now is, if you want to be a bodhisattva, you need to practice bodhicitta. If you really want to practice bodhicitta, you need to practice compassion with the non-dual cognition. Remember the non-dual cognition. You need to practice compassion. Also, you need to realize emptiness, right? Emptiness. Then you can be Bodhisattva. When you become Bodhisattva, then you can achieve Buddhahood. When you become a Buddha, then you can teach Dharma to others. That means very simple way, in our daily life, you can see, let's say, all human being has a very particular sickness. There's not such any medicine. There's no medicine. You realize, there's no, for example, COVID, right? COVID-19. So far, we don't have a medicine, right? No medicine. Then you are a very compassionate person. You have a compassion for all human beings. Then what are you going to think? I want to make a medicine which can, eliminate the COVID. Then you think, I want to be I want to be a very good doctor. Then I can give the proper treatment. Then all sentient being free from the COVID. All human being free from the COVID, right? Therefore, same thing. You realize all sentient being needs your help. Now, how you can benefit all sentient being if I become Buddha? How you can be Buddha? How? First, I have to be Bodhisattva. Clear? How you can be Bodhisattva? I can be Bodhisattva if I have bodhicitta. If I actually, let's say, not just imaginary. If you have bodhicitta, then you become Bodhisattva, right? Then how I can achieve bodhicitta? How I can cultivate bodhicitta? Then a compassionate mind, and the wisdom which realizes emptiness. Now, what we can see here, very importantly, practicing compassion is the root, the most important as a seed. If you have a compassion, the great compassion, second, very easy to have bodhicitta. Clear? When you have a bodhicitta, you are already become bodhisattva. When you become bodhisattvas, then gradually, day by day, year by year, yearly, you are, closer to Buddhahood. Then one day, we can be Buddha. When we become Buddha, then we can benefit all sentient beings. How? How we can benefit all sentient beings? How? It doesn't mean after you become Buddha, you can have all the kind of physical resources, material things to all sentient beings can be happy. No. Mainly you can teach Dharma. You can teach, very important technique, how to free from suffering. Right? That means Buddha taught, many levels of teaching according to, different people has a different mental disposition, according to their desire, according to their mindset, the Buddha taught Dharma. At the end, Buddha, bring all sentient beings to the Buddhahood, right? For example, is look, a mother has a child. Of course, when the child is small, mother give candy, like sugar or food, everything. Then slowly the mother bring the child to the school. Just bringing school is not enough. What? They have to, let the child study class by, all the classes. One day, the child can finish their like a university. Just finishing university is not enough. What? Finally, the child must have a good job. Then the mother fulfill. Yes, I accomplish my dream because the child study well. At the end, the child has a good job. The children has a good job. Now he can take care of him or herself. In the same way, the Buddha taught many Dharma. The man, his aim is all sentient beings, all human beings must practice great compassion, bodhicitta, become bodhisattvas, then one day all human beings can be Buddha. When he or she become Buddha, there's no more suffering. He totally free from suffering. Cause of suffering, he achieved in all the good qualities. So these lens are very important. Stanza. Charvaka and the middle level of Buddhas arise from Sarvajan sages. Buddhas are born from bodhisattvas. Then the bodhisattvas or bodhicitta, the compassionate mind and the non-dual cognition. As well, the awakening mind, these are cause of bodhisattvas. That means compassion, the non-dual cognition, or the next we can say the compassionate mind, the wisdom which realizes emptiness, then the bodhicittas are the cause of bodhisattvas. Clear? Now it's very clear. So let's say you want to be bodhisattvas, you need to practice 3. What are they? Compassion, non-dual cognition, and bodhicitta. Right? They say the awakening mind. These 3 are the cause of bodhisattvas. Within these 3, which one we must practice first? Which one we must practice first? There's 2 types of, like a practitioner. If you are a very kind of wise person, then first you need to realize emptiness. Then compassion mind towards all sentient beings. Then bodhicitta, then you become a Buddha, bodhisattvas. If you are not very intelligent person, then first you practice compassion, have a sincere compassion, then generate bodhicitta. Then third, you practice the wisdom which realizes emptiness. Therefore, the 6th chapter is mainly explanation on teaching how we can realize emptiness. So realizing emptiness is very important if you wish to be Buddha. Also realizing emptiness is very important if you wish to be Arhat. So emptiness is very, very important, right? Then many of you think, oh, I'm not really, educated person. I don't understand much, Buddha teaching. It's so difficult to realize emptiness. Everybody thinks it's not easy to realize emptiness, right? Do you think realizing emptiness is easy or difficult? What do you think? Realizing emptiness is easy or difficult? Yes, somebody say easy, somebody say difficult. It depends on their lesser wisdom. Generally, many people think it's not easy, very difficult, right? In a way, yes, it is very difficult. This is the first time, we hear about emptiness. In the previous life, we never ever have a time. We never ever have an opportunity to, hearing the teaching of emptiness. Maybe the first time, difficult. Second, when we think about emptiness, Buddha's actually teaching us, you really need to, turn upside down your view. We need to change our view totally. Until now, we have a view, all the phenomena look like permanent. You need to change the view, nothing as a permanent. Also, until today, we believe all the things around us exist kind of independently. We should change the view. Therefore, if we are able to change our view, if we are able to change our mindset, then we become different. Am I right? We have been studying for Dharma for many years. Also, we practice Dharma for many years. We recite millions of mani padme or 100 times recitation, but we realize I haven't changed yet. Why? We haven't changed our view. We haven't changed our mindset. If you don't change your mindset, you never be, happy. Because we have a problem because we always stick with our mindset. Mindset, right? Mindset. For example, all of you, just let's say next month, all of you go to, let's say, Europe. When you reach to Europe, the weather is different. The language and culture and food is different. If you still, stick your mindset, the weather, you need a warm weather. When you go to Europe, you never be happy. Weather is very chilly and cold. You always want to eat, the laksa is Singaporean food. Still, you stick your mindset, I want to eat laksa. If somebody offer you the best breakfast, lunch, you never be happy because you haven't changed your mindset. So if if we really want to be Buddha, we need to change our mindset. We need to change our view. We totally need to, change our view in the total like upside down. Then, so there's a way we become a Buddha. If we don't change our mindset, if we don't change our view, always stick with our daily, the mindset, we never be Buddha. Therefore, as well the awakening mind, these are cause of bodhisattvas. Now you can see here the compassion become very important practice. Practicing compassion is very important, right? How? If you practice compassion, you can practice great compassion. If you practice great compassion, bodhicitta is next to it. Very easy. When you practice great compassion, you can achieve bodhicitta. When you practice bodhicitta, you become bodhisattvas. Then what you need to add? You need to add the wisdom, which is really emptiness. When you practice these two together, then you need to add the 5 perfections. Then, day by day, you are closer to the Buddhahood. Surely, then you can be Buddha. Therefore, here, the stanza number 1, 2, one is about compassion is very important for achieving Buddhahood. The second stanza is, as compassion alone is accepted to be the seeds of the perfect awareness of the Buddhahood. Mean, if you have a compassion mind, then you can cultivate the Buddhahood. Look like the compassion, the great compassion look like seeds. Right? If you planted a seeds, then you can grow, harvest of the Buddhahood. But what we have been doing, we never ever, planted the seeds of compassion, but we have a strong desire to be Buddha. We cannot. This is our mistake. Our mistake. Therefore, we should not think I want to, practice very high level kind of practice. Very simple. In our daily life, we always practice compassion. Practicing compassion, you don't need anything. You don't need money, you don't need house, you don't nothing. Every moment you can find a person, you can practice compassion. Every moment, every steps. For me, when I woke up early morning, who I can see around me, I can see the people who are sweeping the roads. I can see the elderly, men and women who collect the paper bags. I can practice compassion towards them. So then when I walk in the, the waters, I can see many, elderly people, old people doing exercise. Why they need exercise? They worry about their health. When I reflect their worry, and I can practice compassion. Also, sometimes you can see very strange. Those people, the knee has a lot, there's a lot of problem with the knee. They put the kneecap, what you call that, protection, still running here and there. Also, I can think how come, because he or she has a knee problem, but still running. Also, I can cultivate compassion. Therefore, every moment, every step, you have the opportunity to practice compassion. Therefore, every day, you practice compassion rather than reciting a lot of mantra. Reciting mantra is good. Doing chanting is very good. It doesn't change your, like your life. It doesn't cause actually achieving Buddhahood. Therefore, yeah, you do less recitation, do more, generating compassion. Clear? Compassion. Why compassion is so important? Therefore, the stanza number 2, as compassion alone is accepted to be the seeds of the perfect, the harvest of the Buddhahood. Also, the compassion is through the water that nurtures it, nurtures the Buddhahood. Also, the compassion important. The fruit is alone source of enjoyment. That means compassion becomes as a seed to generate like Buddhahood, right? Also, compassion is very important to nurture, just continuously cause to achieve Buddhahood. Also, compassion is very important when let's say, at the beginning you have a compassion for achieving Buddhahood. After you become a Buddha, no compassion, then what happened? The Buddha achieving Buddhahood cannot benefit anything, right? For example, at the beginning you have a very compassion mind for becoming doctor, right? After you become doctor, no compassion, the doctor cannot benefit much. That means at the beginning we need compassion for becoming doctor. Also, we need compassion who, he or she become doctor. Also, we need compassion. The compassion can benefit. In between, you don't have a compassion, then also it become obstacle. Therefore, at the beginning, you need a compassion for becoming doctor. In the middle, also, you need compassion, continuously study for becoming doctor. At the end, also, you need compassion to benefit all these patients. Right? Therefore, compassion we need at the beginning as a seeds. We need in the middle as a water. We need at the end as a ripen the fruits. Right? Compassion is very important. So, practicing compassion is quite simple. And also, you don't need anything. Just cultivate compassion every moment towards any sentient beings. Therefore, the last stanza from the 1-2, the number 2, I will praise compassion at the start of all. Therefore, Chandrakirti, before he composed this root text, he praised to the compassion at the start of all. So he never praised, praised to the Buddha, never praised to Bodhisattva. He praised to which? Compassion. Because compassion, he realized so important. Now, there's a reason he praised compassion at the start of all. One, he realized, without compassion, I cannot cultivate bodhicitta. Without bodhicitta, I cannot be Bodhisattva. Without becoming Bodhisattva, I never be Buddha. Therefore, compassion is very important. He realized himself. At the same time, he's really teaching us. If you want to be Buddha, first you have to be what? Bodhisattva. Clear? How, if you want to be Bodhisattva, what you need to practice? You need to practice bodhicitta. How you can practice bodhicitta? Practice compassion. Right? So we can practice compassion anytime, anywhere. One time His Holiness Dalai Lama said, for example, when they do the sadhana, Yamantaka sadhana or Vajrasattva sadhana, Avalokiteshvara sadhana, he said, it is not comfortable practice sadhana in toilet. Sitting on the toilet bowl, visualize all the Buddha, he said, it's not easy, it's not comfortable. It's very comfortable sitting on the toilet, cultivate compassion. It's true, right? You can practice compassion anywhere. You don't need to offer, light. You don't need to set up any offering. Practice compassion as a foundation for becoming Bodhisattva. Once you become Bodhisattva, definitely, you're every day, every moment, you are closer to Buddhahood. Then you can be Buddha. Therefore, this is the reason why he preached compassion at the start of all. Then now he preached to the compassion without differentiating with the differentiate. First with the thoughts, I am. They cling to the self, to a self. Then with the thoughts mind, they become attached to the things. Then he's telling how sentient being has a suffering. Why we have a lot of suffering? Do we need suffering? Do we need suffering? Problem? No, right? You don't want suffering. Whether you are Buddhist, non-Buddhist, whether you are mature or immature, nobody wants suffering. It's nature. Whether you are Buddhist, non-Buddhist, whether you're male and female, you're a child, you're little like baby, you want happiness. Nobody wants suffering. Everybody wants happiness. Then why we have a suffering? Why we have a problems? Yes, certain problem we create ourselves with a kind of certain intention. But actually, everybody has a suffering because we have a self-grasping. Self-grasping. Therefore, first with the thoughts, I am. Self-grasping means we grasp self or I, me as independent. This is a very big mistake, right? First with the thoughts, I am. We say, when we say I am, we hold I as an independent. As independent. I have an independent me. I have an independent I. This is a mistake. The second, due to the thought I, they cling on a self. Then with the thoughts mind, me and mine. When we have a thoughts of mind, thoughts, mind also independent, then we attach. They become attached to the things. That means at the beginning, there's a self-grasping, which is that we hold as independent. Second, when we think this is my house, this is my car, that moment there's another type of I. Right? Due to these two thoughts, then we become attached to the thing. That means there's a ignorance, self-ignorance, then there's a attachment, then there's a anger, then all the negative thoughts arise. Clear? Then due to all the negative thoughts, we accumulate karmas. Therefore, we have a suffering. Also, we need to change, the view about I and mine. Until now, we have a view, we believe I or me as an independent me, independent I. So you change the mindset. You should think there's no independent me, there's no independent I. You recite every day in the morning when you clean your room, when you're taking a shower, you just say, there's no independent me, there's no independent I. You just chant. Those is good chanting. Then saying that, then you have a habit. You're going to have a kind of you're going to have some kind of habit to think there's no independent I. Then you need to use pure reasoning and logic when you will realize there's no independent I. I is empty of independent existence. Then you realize emptiness of I. Then you're going to realize emptiness of mind. Then since there's no attachment. First, with the thought, I am, they cling to a self. There's a I exists, but there's no independent I. Clear? You're not saying there's no I. There's a I, but there's no independent I. Like the buckets on the water wheel that turn without control. The ancient time, there's the wheel attached with the many buckets. When the wheel go down, bring water, going up, bring water, going down, become empty. It just turn running continuously. That means we are in samsara without control, because we have a concept, a misconception about I. Then we have a misconception about mind. Then we have a attachment. Then we always engage into the karma. Therefore, we are in samsara for millions of years. If we don't cut the change with the I, mind, karma, we continuously in samsara. Right? Therefore, first we need to cut the change. How we should cut? First, we need to realize emptiness of I, emptiness of mind. Then there's no attachment. Then there's no anger. Then there's no any karma. Then we can be free from the suffering and the cause of suffering. Clear? Here again, you're saying first, the non-dual is one of the cause of the bodhisattvas. Also, in order to free from the root of samsara, the root of the samsara, we need to realize emptiness. That second point of second reasoning. Then the like buckets on the water wheel, they turn without control. That means we are not in control, right? Born in samsara, then we have a misunderstanding of I and mind. Then there's attachment, there's anger, they accumulate karma. After we died, we go again in samsara. It's like a buckets, wheel of buckets, right? It's continually turning in the samsara. I bow to the compassion that care of such as suffering beings. So when you generate compassion based on the physical suffering, right? Physical suffering, there are so many human beings, they don't have a really physical suffering. They're physically very healthy. You cannot see the person has a physical suffering. You cannot generate, proper compassion. If you think all sentient beings has a misunderstanding of I, conception of mind, then, generate attachment, anger, then all sentient beings in the samsara without control, then you have compassion. Here, what His Holiness Dalai Lama always, use a kind of analogy. He said, we can see someone is drowning in the water, drowning in the water. The person says, please save me, I'm going to die, please save me. But also you cannot jump in the water is so big. You're also going to, die there. But we can see there's a, chunk of woods next to the person. Then what do you think? There's a wood, big, you can see one kind of piece of wood next to the person. Now, what do you think then? I wish he can, hold the words that he can save himself. I cannot do much. But what we can say, please don't cry, don't, scream. You just hold the piece of the words. You're going to be safe. Right? That means what Buddha can say us, if you really want to be free from suffering, if you don't want to have a lot of suffering, there's a way. There's a way. What? You need to realize emptiness. Realize emptiness. Then you can be saved yourself. Right? Therefore, realizing emptiness becomes very, very important. So, therefore, what we need to think, I want to be Buddha. Therefore, first I have to be Bodhisattva. I can be Bodhisattva if I practice Bodhicitta. Yes, you can say, every day I practice Bodhicitta, am I Bodhisattva? Am I Bodhisattva? No. We have a strong mind. We just wish to be Buddha. But we haven't really achieve the bodhicitta. We haven't really attained bodhisattva in our mind. So therefore, in order to achieve bodhisattva, in order to actually generate bodhicitta, first you generate compassion. Then the compassion change into great compassion. When you have a great compassion, then you can have a bodhicitta. Then you can be bodhisattva, then you can be Buddha. Then bodhicitta with a non-dual cognition or the wisdom which realizes emptiness. Right? Then top of the bodhicitta and realizing emptiness, then you need to practice only the 5 perfections. What are the 5 perfections? Perfection of the generosity. Then second one, perfection of the ethical discipline. Right? There's the order. First, perfection of generosity. Second is perfection of the ethicals. Third is perfection of patience. Then fourth is joy effort. Then fifth is perfection of the concentration. Then perfection of the wisdom. Therefore, chapter 6 is very particular about perfection of the wisdom. Among the 6, Buddha taught, perfection of the generosity. Be generous, generosity. So here we will recite the verses. Stanza number, chapter 1, stanza number 9. Chapter 1, stanza number 9. At this point, the first cause of the full awakening, the profession of generosity, will become preeminent, right? Preeminent. Yes, mean, in order to cultivate the actual bodhicitta, we need to practice generosity. So, what kind of generosity we must practice? Yes, generally, you can be very generous to share your food, your clothes, your property, your money, let's say mostly quite easy. But not easy to share, your flesh. Not easy to cut your hands and legs, offer to someone, not easy. Therefore, committed to giving away even his very flesh. If you reach to this kind of level, then you can say, I become a master in practicing generosity. Right? Committed to giving away even his very flesh. Giving become a sign to the inferior his unseen quality. Then why we need to practice generosity first? Within the 6, why generosity is the first? All living beings eagerly yearn for happiness. Right? All living beings, even though in a sentient being, insect, when you look at the kind of insect, they put a lot of effort to achieve happiness. All living beings eagerly yearn for happiness. Yet, for human, there is no happiness without resources. Right? You cannot be happy without resources. Therefore, many also he has one problem as a Buddhist. Many Buddhist people say, oh, I need to cultivate bodhicitta. Also, I need to cultivate renunciation. I don't care, my job. I don't care my property. I don't care money. It's a very mistake. Particularly, many of you are Singaporean. You should not think that way. You must think I need the resources. Then physically I can be healthy, mentally happy. Then I have a good opportunity to practice Dharma, right? How we can survive without resources? If you are a monk and nun who living in the mountain, still you need a food, still you need a clothes. Without food and clothes, you cannot survive. Forget about practicing Dharma. Therefore, in order to have the resources, also we need a cause to have the resources. In our lifetime, we can see somebody, works so hard to earn, kind of money or property, resources. They cannot. They put a lot of effort. They try many different ways, cannot. Someone you can see easily can achieve in all the resources. Can have many houses, have a many car, many money, all things achieve very easily. Why? Why we cannot? Why they can easily? What is the differences? We put a lot of effort. They didn't put a lot of effort, but they can have a more, I have a less. Why? The cause. In the previous life, he or she was very generous. Therefore, this lifetime, he or she can achieve things very easily. In the past life, we didn't be very, very generous. Therefore, here, we cannot achieve things very easily. Therefore, look at it. It's a very, practical, simple saying, in next life, if you need good resources, what we need to do, we have to be generous. But sometimes we are very generous for offering, light and incense and, things to the Buddha and Bodhisattva. We are not enough generous for, sharing things with the human beings. So therefore, in this lifetime, if you are very generous, and next life, you can have all the resources. When you have all the resources, then you can practice Dharma very easily. That means we are what you call in the modern time, we say, what do you call this one? Insurance. We are practicing generosity is you are having good insurance to own good resources for the next life. Right? Therefore, resources is very important. Without resources, human won't have a happiness. Therefore, yet for human, there's no happiness without resources. Material resources in turn come about from generosity. Knowing this, the Buddha spoke on the generosity first. Those with the weak compassion and the ruthless mind who seek their own welfare with the enthusiasm, even for them, the wealth they desire will come through the generosity, from the generosity. Of course, they relieve the suffering. Therefore, chapter number is the mainly practicing generosity, top of the bodhicitta and non-dual cognition. And chapter number 2 is ethical discipline. So here I said, at the beginning, chapter number 2, stanza number 1, is known with the perfect morality and purity. Even in the dream, you shown the stain of the immorality. Since all movement of his body, speech, and mind are pure. Right? First, as a foundation, cultivate bodhicitta, realize emptiness, then practice generosity. Top of the generosity, practice the morality or pure ethical discipline. Even though in dream, he or she shown the stain of the immorality, right? This chapter number is more about ethical discipline, the pure morality. Then chapter number 3 is practicing patience, yes, patience. Stanza number 2, chapter number 3, stanza number 2. Where a disturbed person so silent in his flesh from the bones of the body of the Bodhisattva, though he be innocent, cutting it off once by one over the prolonged period. This will serve to the increase his forbearance towards the torturers. If you reach to this kind of fact, somebody cut your hands and leg piece by piece, still you have a compassion towards the person, then you can say, I'm, perfect practitioner of the patience. Chapter number 3 is practicing patience. Then you can continue to read the chapter. Then they're saying there's no point to be angry, because if you be angry, that means you are destroying the cause of happiness. If you want happiness, you should not be angry with anybody. Angry can be caused to bring a lot of suffering. Also, one point said, let's say somebody hits you by stone or like a stick. Somebody hits on your head, then you get very angry. After you get angry, it doesn't mean you're going to despair the pain and suffering. Even you hit back, the wound is still there. If you hit back to the person, the suffering is still there. There's no point to be, react towards the person. Just be patient. Be patient. Then chapter number 5 is the forbearance. Chapter number 4 is forbearance. Chapter number 5 is the concentration or mindfulness. Then chapter number 6 is the wisdom. So today we start from the chapter number 6 as a first day. 6. Okay, before we start the chapter number 6 or the 6th ground, I hope all of you are quite clear that as a Buddhist, we have 3 practices. The first, practice the 10 virtues actions. Totally stop, avoid all the non-10 virtues actions. Then you always can achieve the samsaric happiness. You always, take a rebirth as a human, as a celestial beings. You don't have to be Buddhist. Even though like Hindu, the Muslim, Christian, also they can achieve the samsaric happiness through practicing the 10 virtues action. Practicing 10 virtues action is the common practice with all the religious people, whether you are Buddhist, Christian, Muslim, whatever you believe in religion, everybody must practice the 10 virtues actions. Then you can, take a rebirth into higher realms, or you can achieve a samsara happiness all the time. Now, Buddhists and non-Buddhists become different here through practicing renunciation. Have a strong desire to achieve liberation, Buddhahood, then it's become different. Second, as a Buddhist, you have 2 options. What are the 2 options? Either you wish to achieve liberation or Buddhahood. Clear? It's up to you. If you sincerely think, I don't think I can achieve Buddhahood. Yes, you can say, yeah, I can be Buddha, but it takes a long time. It's not easy to be Buddha. I want to achieve liberation. Then you have to be very clear. Clear means in order to achieve liberation, what you need to practice? What? You need to practice renunciation. Also, you need to do a lot of meditation on emptiness. practice these two together, one day you can achieve liberation. You can be liberated yourself. You can be liberated from, cause of suffering and the suffering. Clear? Then third, if you think, I don't just want to be liberated myself, I want to benefit all sentient beings, right? How and why? Then you realize, I have a connection with all sentient beings, all human beings as well. So right now I'm a human, I'm a very intelligent, I realize I have a connection all sentient beings as my dear mother. I cannot ignore their suffering. I cannot ignore their happiness. I must do something to benefit all sentient beings, right? Then how? Today, I cannot benefit just, even though just 1%, you can give little benefit today, but you cannot benefit tomorrow. I cannot. Then how you can benefit all sentient beings? Which way you can benefit? Then, if I become a Buddha, I can benefit all sentient beings. Clear? Now let's say we follow the Mahan teaching, we consider I'm a Mahan practitioner. Then what is your main practice for achieving Buddhahood? Bodhicitta. Right? First, I have to be Bodhisattva. Clear? Becoming Buddha depends on become Bodhisattva. How you can be Bodhisattva? If I practice Bodhicitta, right? I need to practice Bodhicitta. Not just emotional level. You should not think I want to be Buddha, I want to be Buddha. You really need to cultivate the minds in the practical level. When you achieve Bodhicitta, you are Bodhisattva. Clear? And how you can cultivate Bodhicitta? I need to cultivate compassion. The first compassion. Just cultivate compassion towards your friends and family. You don't have hundreds of people in your family. You have maybe 4 or 5 or 6 people, not more than 6 people in your family. You just cultivate pure compassion towards them. You should not think she's my mother, he's my brother, he's my uncle, he's my nephew. You should not think those people who always living with me, they are sentient beings. They need happiness. They don't want suffering. Just cultivate compassion. Then this compassion you extend, the people who living around you, your neighbors. Because Singapore, for example, when you live in the HDB, there's how many people? Maybe around 100 people living there. You just cultivate compassion towards those 100 people who are living in your HDB. Then can you extend, other people who live in other HDB. Then slowly you can extend the compassion to all Singaporean without any differentiating, right? Oh, those are Buddhists, I must have compassion. Those are not Buddhists, I should not have compassion. No, for you, don't care. No matter the person is Buddhist, non-Buddhist, rich and poor, doesn't matter. The person you look ugly, the person look very nice, you don't care. You just cultivate compassion towards all Singaporean. Then all parts of Asia, then Europe, America, Africa, then all other planets, sentient beings. When you have a compassion towards all sentient beings, then you still have a strong, kind of desire or aspiration to be Buddha. Because you become very compassionate person to all sentient beings. That means you think, how I can benefit all them? I want to be Buddha. Then the mind, the bodhicitta, you need to cultivate every day based on the great compassion. That means when you wake up, you must think, I wish to be Buddha to benefit all sentient beings. Just practice bodhicitta all the time based on the great compassion. Clear? Very simple. Then after let's say you somehow you achieve, you have the bodhicitta in your mind, not just imaginary, right? Imaginable. You have the bodhicitta, then also you think this bodhicitta can eliminate the root of the samsara or not? Cannot. Let's say when you have a bodhicitta or great compassion, you become very kind person, very calm and kind person. Still you can get angry. Still you can have an attachment. Therefore, what you need to do, you need to realize emptiness. Clear? Emptiness. Then realizing emptiness is easy or difficult. And I said, in a way, you said you think it's very difficult. In other way, you can think it's very simple, very easy. Why in a way is so difficult? Because until today, we never ever heard about emptiness. It's the first time in our, in the whole of life, first time. So difficult it is emptiness. Another way is very simple, easy. I said many times, you need to observe. You need to analyze what just one object in front of you, like a flower. You can just look at the flower. First you say, yeah, this is a flower. Yes, everybody will agree with you. This is a flower, right? Then you think how the flower is actually arising, how the flower is really exists in front of me. You can see if I add water, you can see the flower is, the plant is growing, the flower is, blooming. If you stop adding water, next day you can see the flower is, flower is become different, dry. Then you realize, yes, the plant is, growing. It depends on cause condition. The flower cannot really grow automatically. It needs a lot of cause condition. Then you realize, dependent on cause condition. Clear? Then second, yes, I know the flower is growing is depend on water or soil or all this sunlight. There's so many conditions need. Then the flower or the plant can grow well, and the plant can produce fruits and flower. You realize, everybody realize. You no need to study, like all the kind of philosophy. Everybody will realize. Then third, you need to think, actually, why this is flower? Why this is kind of, fruits? How? Something is we say flower, certain thing we say fruits, certain thing we say leaf, certain thing we say plant. How things become flower, how things become plant, how things become fruits, how? Because all of them samely, equally depends on cause condition. But one is become flower, one is become, like leaf, one is become fruits. How? Who really, established this as a flower? Who really established, say this is a leaf? Who really label? We human. Right? For example, this building, I said in the past many times, that like 4 years ago, this building was maybe a company building. Right? Company. And everyone say, oh, this building is this is a company, this is a company. When the company moved, there's no company, no DBC. This building, was empty for maybe many months. Then when we move, since we moved, this building become what? Tibetan Buddhist Center. So what is the difference before Tibetan Buddhist Center, after Tibetan Buddhist Center? What's different? Just label. We move, we put a name Tibetan Buddhist Center, and since this building become Tibetan Buddhist Center. You think that's way, then finally you're going to realize nothing there as independent. You can change things in different ways. Today, Tibetan Buddhist Center, tomorrow maybe, Wong Company. Day after tomorrow, Lee Company, the building is same. Therefore, if you analyze this way, then finally you can say, yes, everything depends on thoughts and the label. Then things become TBC. Things become leaf. Things become flower. The flower is not as a flower from the object side. It very much depends on the subject side. You realize, let's say then through this logic, reasoning, analysis, you realize emptiness. Then you practice bodhicitta with the emptiness with the bodhicitta for many years or many months. Then gradually you practice generosity, then 6 perfections. The more you practice 6 perfection with the bodhicitta with the 6 perfection, the more you closer to the Buddhahood. Right? Now here today what we learn very important things, 3 things. 1, first I need to practice great compassion. The compassion extend as a great compassion. The compassion cover for all sentient beings. Either there's no your enemy for you, there's no such say this is my dear one. For you, everybody is equal. Compassion. Then after compassion, you learn I can cultivate bodhicitta. Plus the bodhicitta and compassion, I need to realize emptiness. After I realize emptiness, then I need to meditate on emptiness with the bodhicitta, with the emptiness, the union of bodhicitta and wisdom. Then 5 perfections. Then you have enough kind of practice for achieving Buddhahood. Right? Therefore, today we learn bodhicitta, correct compassion is so important as a seeds. Then bodhicitta is so important to be bodhisattva. If I practice only great compassion and bodhicitta, I cannot be Buddha. I need to practice emptiness. Right? Practice emptiness, or I need to meditate on emptiness. In order to meditate on emptiness, what we need to do? We need to realize. Right? We need to realize. We need to know the emptiness. What does mean emptiness? Then I said to you, you absorb, you look at just one phenomena. You should not change the phenomena every time. Or you always use a flower or in front of you and you analyze. First, how the plant is growing, how the flower is blooming, how the fruit is producing. Yes, cause and condition. Then there's you can say the effect of the cause condition can be sometimes very gross, sometimes very subtle. So we're not going to understand the subtle cause condition, the effect of the subtle cause condition. We cannot understand through our eyes, naked eyes. For example, every day you are adding 1 cup of water to the plant. Right? The plant, you're always adding same amount of water. Yes, the flower is growing well. Then one day you minus 1 spoon water. You put little less. Do you think there's an effect or not? Adding little. Do you think there's a difference or not? Yes, we think. I don't think there's much different. Actually, yes. Even though you minus half spoon of water, there's a different effect. If you add 1 more spoon of water, there's an effect. Because we can understand the gross level of cause condition. You totally, reduce half of water of cup, you can see tomorrow the plant is different. Yes. We don't understand, the effect of, the little causing condition, we're not going to understand. Therefore, every action, doesn't matter, action is very strong, middle comes of action, very subtle. There's a different result. Through this study, you're going to realize everything depends on cause and condition. Then everything depends on name and thoughts. Nothing exists as a ultimate existence. None of the phenomena can be ultimate existence. None of phenomena exist independently. Then the opposite of the not exist independent is emptiness. Emptiness means all of the phenomena empty of independent existence. Therefore, I said at the beginning, we need to switch our view. We should not think things are independent. The house, the car, the food, my body, me, everything is empty of independent existence. Then you realize emptiness. Then bodhicitta with the emptiness with the bodhicitta. You need to practice the union of wisdom and methods. through practicing compassion or compassion bodhicitta, you become very kind, very calm person. Then you add meditation on emptiness, then all the anger, attachment, everything going to control automatically, because you're able to control the root of the negative thoughts, which is ignorance, right? Then, achieving Buddhahood in a way quite easy. For us, very difficult, because it feels very difficult. We cannot practice compassion every day continuously. This morning, you practice compassion. Afternoon, you get angry. Morning, you are so angry. Afternoon, you practice compassion. That means it become equal. Anger arise, compassion reduce. Compassion arise, anger reduce. What we need to do, we continuously, arise, continuously generous compassion, always control anger. Then you can have a great compassion. If you practice compassion continuously, the great compassion continuously, then one day you have a bodhicitta, you can be bodhisattva. So we have a problem, because we can practice today, we cannot practice tomorrow. We could practice yesterday, we cannot practice today. There's no continuously practice of our great compassion, bodhicitta. Therefore, we have been practicing Dharma for many years, but our level is same or more worse. Right? But there's an obstacle. Everybody has an obstacle, not able to practice compassion or bodhicitta continuously. What are the obstacles? Obstacle is two kinds of obstacle always there. One, we don't have the strong kind of belief. Yes, you believe compassion is the cause of bodhicitta. Bodhicitta is the cause of achieving Buddha. You have a belief, but you don't have a solid belief. The belief is not enough solid. Therefore, sudden, kind of emotional thing cause to destroy the belief. Number one. Number two, this depends on the circumstances, depends on the environment where you live. If you live with a very annoying person all the time, then it's become obstacle. You would practice continuously great compassion. Also, if you are a very intelligent person, living with the annoying family, living with the annoying friends, living with the annoying neighbor can be the best cause to practice compassion, great compassion. It depends on you. If you really wish to cause all the annoying thing to generating bodhicitta, then you need to chant the adverses mind training. Right? Every day you chant the adverses of mind training, just no chant and practice. And move next stanza, chant and practice. Then all the annoying person, annoying environment, any kinds of annoying can be conducive condition for practicing, great compassion, bodhicitta, and emptiness. Right? So this is the kind of revision for what we discussed in the past. So we're going to have the class after almost 9 months after, right? Stanza number 6.1. Chapter number 6, stanza number 1. The sixth ground, the manifest. On directly facing Akhan, on directly facing Akha, the manifest is the manifest or directly facing. He abode the mind of meditative equipoise and turned to the attributes of the perfect Buddhahood. This Bodhisattva who sees the truth of dependent origination attained the truth cessation of the dwelling in the wisdom. That means if you really, understood dependent origination or emptiness, that means the practice can become very perfect, the wisdom. When the wisdom become very perfect wisdom, then you will achieve the cessation by the dwelling in the wisdom. Now this analogy here. Just as a single man with the eyes can easily lead a group of blind men to their desired destination. Here too, the intelligent lead the sightless virtues and guide them to the conquer steps. The first two line is the analogy. A group of blind men to the, so just as a single man with the eyes can easily lead the group of blind men for their desired destination, right? Therefore, they say there's 100 of blind people. One person who has eyes, he or she can lead them in the right direction, right? It's analogy. So what is the, according to the analogy, here too, intelligence lead the sightless virtues and guide them to the conquer states. That means without the wisdom, without realizing the emptiness, all our practices like a blind cannot be actually caused to achieve Buddhahood. Therefore, until today, whatever we accumulate merit, virtues, all of them just cause to have a samsara happiness. It cannot really actually cause to achieve Buddhahood. Right? That means until now, a blind person leading the blind group of people around, they never reach to the desired destination. So when we realize emptiness, all our practices change their direction. Here true intelligence lead the sightless virtues, mean all the virtues, practicing generosity, ethical discipline, forbearance, whatever, all the practices never be, direct cause to achieve Buddhahood. When we realize emptiness, when we have the intelligence which is realizationess, then all the virtues can lead to the conquered states. That means here showing realizing emptiness is so important. One important, it can eliminate the root of samsara, which is ignorance. Second, it is so important, all our practice can be direct cause to achieve Buddhahood. Therefore, realizing emptiness is very, very important. Then, how, Chandrakirti going to explain the emptiness? Through the scripture, one who has realized the utterly profound truth, through scripture and through the reasoning as well, was the noble Nagarjuna. So I will expound here his tradition as appears in the treatise, his treatise. Then Chandrakirti was saying, realizing emptiness is so important. We need to realize the profound phenomena which is emptiness. How we should realize, how we should understand, according to the Nagarjuna treatise. And then he said, I will explain the emptiness according to Nagarjuna tradition, which is appeared in his treatise. There's a 6 treatise which is composed by Nagarjuna, mainly on emptiness. Particularly the the wisdom.
Fundamental wisdom of emptiness.
Yeah, fundamental wisdom of emptiness in Sanskrit.
Madhyamika Mulakarika.
Yeah, Madhyamaka Mulakarika is the most important treatise written by Nagarjuna. Within this treatise, there's hundreds of logical reasonings. So this too profound, too vast, too big. Therefore, he totally extract the meaning of the emptiness. He explained here. Not explained by himself, by his own thoughts. He explained emptiness according to Nagarjuna tradition, particularly which is explained in the 6 treatise. Now you need to hear 2 things you need to know. First, realizing emptiness is very important. how we should realize. We should realize emptiness as Nagarjuna explained in his 5 thetis. That means realizing emptiness is important. Therefore, we need to study this, the 6 thetis of Nagarjuna. The essence of the 6 thetis is emptiness. He's going to explain by Chandrakirti in this text. Right? Then, so what is the condition, what sort of condition the person must have in order to practice, in order to realize emptiness? Therefore, stanza number 4, even ordinary person, when hearing about emptiness, share joys, surges again and again within their heart. Tears born of such a joy fill their eyes. And their hair stand up in their follicles, right? Follicles. Such as people have the seeds of perfect Buddhahood. Therefore, Nagarjuna and also Buddha Shakyamuni, all the masters saying, whom we should explain emptiness. Who is the perfect person to teach emptiness? So which person is the right person to teach emptiness? That means when the person hears the words about emptiness, the person feels so joyful, moved by hearing the words. That means the person is the right person to teach emptiness. And that the person has the perfect seeds of the perfect Buddhahood. The perfect means the person is the ready, very ready to listening emptiness. They are the perfect vessels for this teaching. To them you should teach the sublime ultimate truth. So here, recognition the person who Nagarjuna, Chandrakirti can teach emptiness. To them you should teach the sublime ultimate truth. If you find this kind of person, then the person is the right person to teach emptiness. If you teach emptiness to the wrong person, the person cannot have any benefit. The person have a more harmfulness. Therefore, the teacher, master must recognize a right person to teach emptiness. From them, the ensuing the quality will come to birth. So if we teach emptiness to the right person, the person can cultivate the right qualities, lot of qualities. Then the person adopting perfect morality, they will always abide by it. They will practice generosity and cultivate compassion. They will practice forbearance and will dedicate thoroughly their virtues to freedom for all beings. Now here we need to know the link, let's say realizing the right person and teach emptiness. When we teach emptiness to the right person, then the person can practice ethical discipline, generosity, ethical discipline, forbearing, everything. Because, for example, when we buy expensive thing, we always buy the things with the, what you call insurance, right? Insurance. We know the object is so important, it's very expensive. Something happen, I can get new things, right? You are insured, you have the valuable object. Let's say due to our karmic previous karma, we are the right person, to listening, teaching of emptiness. Then we recognize, yes, realizing emptiness is so important. I must realize emptiness. Then I can be Buddha. Therefore, I need to practice ethical morality because I don't want to born in the lower realms. I need to practice generosity. I don't want to have a life which doesn't have a resources. Therefore, I need to practice the forbearance. I don't want to, destroy the compassion. Therefore, if you really know the point, realizing emptiness is very important, then the rest of the profession will practice automatically. So many things we cannot practice continuously because we are lacking. Realize we are really lacking the knowing the point, right? Here we are saying, practicing bodhicitta can be close to bodhisattva. Bodhicitta can be practiced if you practice great compassion. Great compassion can be practiced if you practice compassion. Compassion can be practiced if you have a compassion towards your family and friends who are living around you all the time. Those are the people who destroy your compassion, right? Many people say, I cannot practice compassion because my mother is so annoying, my brother is so annoying, my friend is so annoying, my neighbor is so annoying, right? You say, I cannot. Because those are the actually cause to reduce your compassion. Those are the cause to destroy your compassion. First, you care those people who live around us. Remember what Lama Tsongkhapa said in Lamrim? Practicing compassion to all sentient beings is quite easy because you are far away all sentient beings. We have always compassion to the person who live in the the 6 continents, 4 continents, east, west, south, north. But the US, America, everything included in the south continents. So the north, the being who live in the north continents, yes, we can practice compassion all the time because we don't have a direct effect from them. We cannot see their annoying very easy. The most difficult is who lives around us. Therefore, first, we need to practice compassion around us. Also, we can see, sometimes many Buddhist people, they are very happy to practice compassion to all sentient beings, but they really cannot practice their friends who live around you. But you consider I follow the Mayan teaching. You are not. That means your compassion, practicing compassion to all sentient beings is just you have emotionally you are practicing, not the practical way. And therefore, first as a sits, practice compassion towards your friends and family. You care your friends and family. After you really care them, and you care the people who live around you. Then slowly extend the people who live in your condo. Because many of you are not happy with your neighbors, right? Say, oh, they are very annoying. They're making a lot of noise. They throw the trash in my phone, my door. They destroy my plant, right? You have a lot of complaint. Yes, in a way, yes, you must complain. But we need to know, those are also object of your compassion. Okay, now it's almost 5. So today we stop our class. Then next Saturday we do more precisely about the 4 points, right? 4 points. You just read the stanza. Also you read the commentary on the 4. I will read it here. So. 6-8, chapter number 6, stanza number 8. Not originating from itself, and how from something others, not from both, and how from not cause. If things originated from themselves, nothing is gain. Furthermore, something already born cannot repeat its birth. If you convince that with this one arising can arising again. So you please read all this stanza, particularly you read a commentary on this stanza number 8 and 9 and 10. Next we study about this stanza. Okay, we have a few minutes. Is there any question? Anybody wants to raise question? Please feel free, ask question. related to this class, today class, or related to your, in a daily kind of question? Is there any question, Sonam?
No question at the moment.
Mhm.
So, dear Dhamma brothers and sisters, if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or unmute yourself.
Okay, in the future, you can raise question related to today class, related to our class. Also, you can raise any question if you're stuck in your mind. Yeah, okay, no question, then we do dedication from the Lamrim.